It's Tay. I'm back with another story time. So we're gonna call this one like the Cashapp girl, and you guys will know why in a second. So this client was a regular. She's been coming to me for maybe about 2 years at this point, and we've never really had any issues. Like, she's brought her daughter. Her daughter was like a joy to have in my chair. She always came, paid, tipped, never gave me any issues, always was on time, what have you. So this particular appointment, she had booked a pronto weave, which is like a glue-in, like we call it a quick weave in LA, but a glue-in weave. And it was gonna be real cute. I was excited. We had done like a split color ahead of her appointment, in a previous appointment. And so we were gonna do this one the same way, but in a quick weave. So she got, let me pause this. So she got her weave. Let me go back. So her appointment was at 9:30, and I have a 15-minute late policy, but I can be a little lenient at times. Like, let's say for instance, I know my client's here, I know what they're getting, then and I know like, oh, this person's gonna be pretty quick, then sometimes, you know, I can be a little lenient on the late period. Or, you know, also sometimes like with regulars, because like I said, I already know what I'm dealing with. It may be one of those things where I'm like, you know what, like, we're not gonna be able to do this service, but we could do this. So let's just say, for argument's sake, like a client booked for like a quick weave, and they wanted a bob cut. Let's say that we didn't have enough time because they were running behind, and I could just say, you know what, nope, I can still take you, but I may not be able to cut the bob. Normally what I will do is I will let clients know, normally what I will do is I will let clients know ahead of time, like, oh, we may not be able to cut it today because we're running behind on time, you know, whatever. But I will see. I don't want to make any promises till we get to the end. That way, if we can do it, they're appreciative. But if we can't, they already kind of know what to expect. And I'm still gonna make sure like they look fly. It's just that, like I said, that if they were 30 minutes late, that may cut into something else. And I still wash and deep condition and blow dry and stuff like that. So it will, you know, take up time. She texted me, I want to say maybe like 15 minutes before her scheduled appointment time. She texted me and she was like, oh, is this enough hair? And usually my website tells you everything that you need for the appointment, but I understand people don't always read that. So I just sent her like a screenshot and was like, no, technically it says you need this much. She was like, dang, I only got 2. I said, don't worry about it, we'll make it work. Because if you're at the beauty supply store 15 minutes before your appointment, you're probably not gonna make it on time. So I just make it work. And then the good thing too, like with getting a bob, is the fact that like once you cut the hair, it's gonna look thicker anyway. So it wasn't that big of a deal. So then she gets there, and I usually provide everything. I don't really tell them to bring much unless they choose to. Like if they don't want to, like for instance, if you're getting a quick weave and you don't want to purchase hair from me, of course, yes, you're going to have to buy hair. I do require that clients bring their own wig caps. A lot of the time I do have extra, but I always tell clients like it's not a guaranteed thing, so just to be on the safe side. So she gets there, she's late. She's like maybe about like 30 minutes late. I don't exactly remember, so I don't want to lie on her and say when, but I just know that she was late, and it was later than, it was like after the grace period. And so she gets to me, and sorry guys, I don't have my tripod, I'm holding my phone, so you have to apologize. I'm trying to adjust my arm here. So she gets there, and I get ready to get her washed, and she's like, oh, I didn't bring a wig cap. And I was just like, okay. Now my process when I do quick weaves is I usually do like the mold down, the wig cap, the papers, and then I will do the protecting solution. So it wasn't like that big of a deal, but I just have a way I like to do things. And so I was just like, you know, it's okay. Like I'm gonna look around while I have you under the dryer, because mind you guys, I still have to wash her in deep conditioner. So I was like, while I have you under the dryer, I'm gonna look around my shop and see if I have, you know, one for you. So I ended up finding one. We do her hair, it comes out cute, you know, post the video, whatever. And she asked me what her balance was. You guys will never believe, like, I'm gonna get to that in a minute, but she asked me what her balance was, and I was like, oh, it's 30 bucks. Because mind you, my clients pay deposits. So no, a quick weave is not 30 bucks. Please do not book with me thinking that you're gonna get a quick weave for $30. No. The quick weave was not $30. The remaining balance on her appointment was $30. So yeah, So she's like, oh, okay. So then she goes to cash up the money. Now, where I was working at, a lot of my clients, they're like, they would process the Cash App or Zelle payment or whatever, and it won't always send until we get to the door because the service in that building was bad. Being also that she was a regular, I really didn't like trip on the payment, like in the sense of like most of my regulars, I already know, like if they go to send a Cash App, it's probably not gonna show up or it's not gonna like ding until they get outside. Like I'm aware of that. Like I said, most of the time this is regular. It's not, if this is not a regular and they're like, oh, you know, blah, 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 I'll either give them the Wi-Fi or I will walk them to the door to make sure that it goes through. You know what I mean? So I did see her go to send me the Cash App. So I didn't think anything of it, you know, when she left. So I want to say, I forgot, like, I still finished her early, so I don't remember exactly, like, the break-in time that I had between her and someone else, but I think it was, like, Starbucks or something, because there was a Starbucks next door. And I went to look in my Cash App to make sure, number one, that the payment was there, but just to see, like, what my balance was, because I was going to use that to buy my Starbucks with. So I look, and there's no payment. And I'm like, okay. Now, I take a bunch of different forms of payment. I take Venmo, Cash App, Zelle. I have, like, I use Square as my payment, Square and PayPal are my payment processors, so you can either, you know, you can go through and pay for your appointment that way. There's a bunch of different ways that I offer payment, Apple Pay, all of that. So the very first thing that I did before I even contacted her was I made sure that I looked through all of my payment systems to see if the payment was already made, and it was not. So I ended up messaging her and I was like, hey love, like, how did you send payment? Because I'm not seeing it in any of my accounts. And she was like, hold on, let me check. Mind you, I'm still not tripping, because even with Cash App sometimes, there was one time, like, I took my son to the barber and could have sworn that I paid her, and when she texted me, it was still showing the payment pending. So, you know, and I just screenshotted it and sent it to her, and I was like, look, if I need to, I'll cancel it and resend it. So, you know, it may have been an honest mistake. Like I said, I never had a reason before to worry about it, so I never did. So, you know, it takes her a minute to figure out, like, to respond back or reply back to me. So I'm thinking, you know, like, maybe, you know, maybe she's calling her bank to try to figure out what happened, or maybe she's contacting Cash App, you know. I don't know. I'm still trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. So I go on, I'm doing my next client. At some point into the next client's appointment, I get a text message letting me know that she, something happened and her check didn't clear with the bank. And she was like, I'll send it to you at midnight. Now, I know that some of you guys are at this point of the story and you are like, okay, so if she said that her check didn't clear, why are you tripping? Wasn't tripping, but I will tell you what disappointed me and the reason why I chose to no longer take her as a client. What bothered me was not the fact that your money was funny. It wasn't the fact that the money didn't send. What bothered me was that she pretended as if she sent the Cash App. So you've had, and everybody has a bad day. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm perfect, right? But you had all of this time throughout whatever you had going on that morning. You had all of that time. And then you sat with me for 2.5 hours or however long it took for that service. So you had time to tell me, you know what, Tay, I'm so sorry, but I thought that my check cleared this morning and it didn't. Is it possible that I could just send you the money at midnight or whenever I get it later on today? Because she's a regular, because she spent so much time and money with me, because she's patronized my business so much, I would have said, like, it's no problem. I wouldn't even tripped off of her, right? And all of this was over $30. Now, I understand being embarrassed. I understand being ashamed. But for myself, and my clients can attest to this, like, I always create a safe space for you guys. No one has to be ashamed about anything. But give me the option to say, you know what, that's not going to work for me today, you know, XYZ, or you know what, yeah, sure, don't worry about it. Because my thing is if I put you in that position and you flop, you're still not going to be able to come back. You know what I mean? But I don't like being lied to. I don't like to feel like I'm being finessed or got over on. Especially over $30. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you were a long time regular. I would have, I would have been willing to deal with that. Not deal with it, but you know what I mean? Like, I would have been willing to accept that before, you know, just cutting off the entire relationship on both sides. You know what I mean? And so for myself, I'm not a person, like, yes, I'm a Gemini, I can hold grudges, but, like, I'm not a person, like, I don't feel like, oh, F her, oh, she's horrible, oh, you know, whatever. Like, I'm not going to go and tell a girl's name or post a picture and be like, oh, don't go to her, because she's not a bad person, like, at all. You know, it's nothing like that. It's just that, like, you know, I always have this saying, you never know what you can get someone to agree to until you ask. And my clients know, like, I really do care about them. I care about what I'm doing. I've had people, like, flake on me and their deposit was $50. And I'm like, bro, you could have got something else. You know, let's just say for argument's sake that you couldn't afford whatever your service was. Let's say you got a weave and you didn't have it to whatever for the weave that I charge, right? Why not just hit me up and say, hey, look, my money is funny. What can I get for this much? Because then I can give you options and we can change the service as opposed to you just eating a whole $50 deposit. You know what I mean? So it was like the same thing with sis. It was like, all you have to do was come and talk to me. All you have to do was hit me up and let me know what was going on. Like, you already had an appointment. You paid the majority of your service. That's not saying like, oh, you can just get off, you know, but at the same time, like I said, like, had you come to me, had you said, hey, this is what's going on, you know, I have it to you, because she did. By midnight, she did pay me. But I felt like I was being finessed. Like, the fact that you pretended to send the Cash App and then left and then waited for me to reach out to you, like, that bothered me, you know? But comment you guys' thoughts below. I have other story times. I know I've been kind of like spotty lately. I've just been really busy. Kids' birthdays and stuff is coming up, but I would love to hear from you guys. Talk to y'all later.